Packers 34-24 as the Bills go to an AFC best 9-1. Kelly shaken up, but he came back. Right now, the L.A. Raiders back on their heels on defense. No score in this game. Broncos with the ball. First and goal after a third down incompletion. And then a first down for the Broncos and a personal foul call against the Raiders. Here's Perriman, not much. Ricky Ellison, the inside linebacker, middle backer, makes the stop. New players come on the field. Trump with the new play.
Yeah, this is not a 5-4 defense as you're looking to Greg Lewis coming in there, the young rookie from Washington, who has done an excellent job for the Denver Broncos because of the Bobby Humphrey holdout. Kind of a surprise. This has been a great draft for the Denver Broncos in 91. 7 solid contributors to this team.
Dan Reeves, you see the rushing touchdowns allowed. 6 already this season, only 4 all of last season, and they're 12-4 years. Raiders defense giving up some more. This is the 11th play of the drive, and now a timeout is called. Denver calls a timeout as Elway wants to get some counsel from the sidelines. At the outset of the season, he called all his own plays. Now he calls them primarily on third down. No score yet, but the Broncos are threatening. Stadium, the Denver Broncos, an 11-play drive to this point. This is the 11th play coming up. They have the ball inside the Raiders' 5-yard line. Second down and goal. Perriman tries the middle. He gets some, but not enough to go in, as he's down to close to the 2-yard line. Thomas Benson came a-hitting.
Don, I think it's interesting that the Raiders' choice down here inside the 5-yard line going with their base defense. The Broncos do so many tricky things down here. Throw it to Sewell. Elway run. There's Dave Adolph. Now he sends in other people. Let's see what kind of defense they get. Now this is the goal line defense they're sending in.
Third and goal from 2 yards out. 3 tight ends in. Elway throws. Timing pattern. A fade pattern. And Shannon Sharp drops the ball.
Should have been caught. Excellent throw.
And what does he do but pull a Bob Trumpy?
No.
He got that with one hand.
I'd have got that with one hand. See, he's got Jerry Robinson, 57, isolated on him. Watch the short arm. Boy, get those. Oh, man. That's right on the money. I mean, they practice that hour after hour after hour. You can't throw it any better. You get the matchup you want, a linebacker on a wide receiver. That's a special play by formation. And he doesn't make the catch.
Raiders will have a moral victory of sorts if they can hold Denver to just 3 points, which Treadwell gives the Broncos. Actually, a 19-yard field goal shorter than a point after touchdown. So on an extended drive, the Broncos get points, but just 3, and Art Shell's Raiders are down 3-0, ready to receive when we come back.
Pretend your TV is a beer mug. We're going to pour you a Miller Lite. Oops. Sorry, foam down on your carpet. Now, tilt the TV for you and taste why light is what beer is today. The great Pilsner taste keeps you ahead of it all. Everybody likes that. Can we pour you another? Hey, I know. Why not buy 6 more TVs and invite some friends over? Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better. And better, and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before. And cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
Oldsmobile knows that all your roads won't be sunny roads. That's why the all-new Oldsmobile 88 Royale LS offers you advanced traction engineering. The combination of anti-lock brakes, traction control, and road-holding front-wheel drive. The 3 elements to beat the elements. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Now, get 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC. by Xerox, the document company. And by Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that.
46 degrees and cloudy in the Mile High City. Winds out of the northwest at 10 miles an hour. There was a threat of snow this morning. It never materialized. David Treadwell now kicks off for the Broncos. A high spinner to carry short. Here comes Jamie Holland, a sprinter from Ohio State. And a sensational special teams play made by a rookie linebacker. Coming up to make the play was Keith Traylor, the third-round draft pick. Raiders go on offense when we come back.
An Olympic moment brought to you by Panasonic, helping to train America's Olympic athletes.
Helsinki, 1952. America's Bob Richards attempts a new Olympic record in the pole vault, 14 feet, 11 1/4 inches. He wins the gold medal. 4 years later in Melbourne, he wins again. Bob Richards, the only man in Olympic history to win the pole vault twice.
Super duper duper. Before you buy a compact camcorder, ask.
Will its tape play in my VCR?
No.
It's that
answer. Big stay soon.
Will its tape play in my VCR?
No.
What?
Now this is the Panasonic Palmcorder camcorder.
Will its tape play in my VCR?
Yes, it's VHS, so its tapes can play in all VHS recorders.
Will its tape play in my VCR?
It will, when it's the Palmcorder from Panasonic.
The power of intelligent engineering is routinely put to the test at Oldsmobile. And here's the result. Of all the Cutlass Sierras ever sold in the last 10 years, we can say 96% are still on the road. Safely say. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Available now for $12,695 with Air and V6 engine.
It's something new. You're gonna love it. From KFC, it's called the Go Bucket.
KFC introduces Go Buckets. Enjoy original recipe, hot wings, and extra tasty crispy chicken.
Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
3-0 Denver on a 19-yard field goal by David Treadwell after an extended drive. The Broncos' second possession of the first quarter. Now the Raiders, who are without a first down, take over again. Jay Schrader at quarterback, the 10th-ranked passer in the American Conference. Interesting thing about him, Trump, is his winning margin as a starting quarterback. It's phenomenal.
I think he's underrated as a quarterback. He's 49-24 as a starting quarterback.
Handoff goes to Roger Craig as he steps over the defense for the moment. Broncos come hitting hard. A 2- or 3-yard gain by Roger Craig. We'd like to welcome the viewers who have been watching the Steelers and the Bengals. That game decided in the fourth quarter, and actually in overtime, Trump. Neil O'Donnell throws to Eric Green for a touchdown.
Tight end is always open.
And the Steelers beat the Bengals, who fall to 1-9. The demise started when Trumpy retired in 77. Oh, they went to the Super Bowl twice since then. Handoff, Roger Craig. That high leg action, he still has that quick change of pace move, and Roger Craig on a 2nd down and 6 play runs it out to the 28-yard line. He gained about 3.
Power sweep run by the Los Angeles Raiders. This is a team that historically loves to control the line of scrimmage, and of course with a Hall of Fame offensive tackle as your head coach, that is his first priority. Control the line of scrimmage. Bang your opponent. Get him on the ground.
Mecklenburg was the tackler on the last play. Schrader and the Raiders now set up 3rd down and 2. Roger Craig, he's ahead for a Raider first down out to the 33-yard line. Randy Robbins, an extra defensive back, and cornerback Tyrone Braxton tackled him. Roger Craig, the Raiders' leading rusher, with 370 yards coming in. As we look at the Miller Genuine Draft 10-minute ticker, Washington laying waste to Atlanta, worse than Sherman. New Orleans beats San Francisco. And the other finals in the one overtime game today. First down and 10. Schrader letting the long ball go, and there's Mervin Fernandez taking it in at the 41-yard line, diving ahead to the 39-yard line. So Jay Schrader and his leading receiver Mervin Fernandez combined on the big hit, a 27-yard gain.
They took advantage of the defense, and something happened here. I'm not sure what. This is Fernandez. They got this zone. Safety out. Fernandez finds the spot right here, and Schrader has time to get it to him. You got to blame this on the safety. He's supposed to rotate out there, and Dennis Smith, number 49, does not get out there in time to defend the ball against Fernandez. Nice pickup, 27 yards. See, Braxton, 34, has got to get a bump on it. Just turns him loose, and Smith doesn't get over there quick enough.
Fernandez with his 37th catch of the year. Flea flicker. Schrader takes a look, lets it fly, trying to run under it as Galden. Schrader did the right thing. He threw it away. Before the game, because the coverage was good, it was interesting, Trump, that Schrader was standing on his goal line before anybody else came out. Just the coaches were walking around out here, and was throwing the ball 65 yards down the field. I think he was sending a message that I can throw deep.
Well, I think they've always known that about Jay Schrader. It's just you got to throw it to the same color jersey he wears. To Allen, back to Schrader, and you're right. He's covered and covered well, so he just throws it in the end zone. That's about 70 yards in the air. Schrader now 2 of 4 for just 34 yards.
Off to a good start. In the loss at Kansas City, he threw 3 interceptions, 142 yards in return for the Chiefs on those interceptions. Here's a throw and a catch. Sam Grady, another of the super fast Raider wideouts, takes it down to the 20-yard line. They don't go to Sam often. That's just his 5th catch. But it was good for 20 yards.
Watch the respect that Henderson gives Grady with that world-class speed. He's a good 7 yards deep. Well thrown by Schrader. Before Grady even turns around, you've got to lay off these wide receivers of the Los Angeles Raiders. They're faster than any 2 defensive backs at corner you can find in the NFL.
World-class speed is an overused term. The guy ran college track. A lot of people call world-class speed, but this guy has it, Grady. You see an Olympic gold medal winner in Los Angeles in '84. Throwing a catch to the tight end, Ethan Horton. A short gain down to the 16-yard line as rookie Mike Kroll makes the tackle. Now while we have a moment, let's go to NFL Live in New York. Bob?
All right, Don, down 24-13, 11 points behind in the 4th quarter. Neil O'Donnell rallied the Steelers, and then in overtime, this 26-yarder to the big tight end, Eric Green. They win it 33-27 over the Bengals. O'Donnell threw for 3 touchdowns, 2 at the end of the 4th quarter, and that one in OT. And the Steelers end their 4-game losing streak. Back to Don and Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Right now, it's 2nd down and 6. Here's Roger Craig cutting inside, taking a thunderous hit, but he's down to the 10-yard line. Wyman Henderson, one of the cornerbacks, and Michael Brooks, an inside linebacker, 56. This Brooks is some terrific player from LSU. Bill Arnsparger, former Dolphins defensive coach who was coach at LSU, said Brooks is the best college linebacker he ever saw before he hurt his knee.
Watch the blocking here. Good double-team block right here, which captures the corner for Craig to get outside. This Raider offensive line, they love doing this. Great lead block by Steve Smith on Simon Fletcher's 73. Just enough to again capture the corner. Those defensive linebackers are going to have to start sitting a little wider for the Bronco defense to stop that.
Raiders now in a power set. 3rd down and less than 1. Pitch
Gonna throw.
Marcus is looking. Andrew Glover's the man. He's got it for a Raider touchdown. The rookie from Grambling in the end zone for the first time. Actually, the 2nd touchdown reception is only like his 3rd or 4th catch. Dennis Smith was covering as best he could, so Marcus Allen returns to the injury list and throws a touchdown pass.
Boy, you could tell at the outset he was going to throw the ball. He didn't disguise it well at all. Here's Glover. He just goes down. Here's Smith, the man in coverage, and it looks like a sweep. And Allen, who has thrown the ball throughout his career, throws it very well. That's his 5th touchdown pass in his NFL career.
Extra point is up and good by Jeff Jaeger. And the ball caught by Andrew Glover was the one that a short time earlier was dropped by Shannon Sharp of the Broncos when they had to settle for a field goal.
Glover makes an excellent catch on a reception, just as you said, similar to the one that Sharp missed. His 4th touchdown pass.
And only the 4th reception of his pro career for Glover, but 2 have been for touchdowns. Now in the ensuing kickoff, the Broncos down a ball in the end zone for a touchback. Alton Montgomery downing it. After a 9-play, 80-yard drive, the Raiders on the right arm of Marcus Allen have taken the lead 7-3. A critically important game. The Raiders got some help today as you look at them as a wild card contestant. The Jets, who were 5-4 also at the outset of the day, were upset by the Colts by a point, and the Jets now 5-5. Highly probable that 3 playoff teams will again come out of the AFC West. There's 4 top contenders: Denver, Kansas City, the Raiders, and Seattle. Seattle is trailing at San Diego 7-0 in a Marion Butts touchdown run. Elway on first down. Here comes the heat. Screens it off. But there's too much pressure, and Benson, a linebacker, Trump, almost had a play on it.
That was ugly from the outset. Ball intended for Greg Lewis. Read well by the Raiders defense. There was just nobody there. That one took an awful long time to set up.
Art Shell talking about the AFC West. He said we keep knocking each other off. Denver beats Kansas City. We beat Denver. Kansas City beats us. It goes on and on.
It's a tough division. Always has been.
And a tough start so far for Elway as you see his numbers. With 29 yards on 2 completions. Ready to pump again. Timing throw. Those quick feet come in handy here for Gentleman John as he lets it rip long. Nobody near it. Incomplete at the 43-yard line in the general direction of a rookie tight end, Reggie Johnson.
Yeah, but how many quarterbacks have you ever seen play the game? Roll left, set up, throw it all the way back across the field.
That's what the Raiders were talking about yesterday. You got to cover the whole field when he goes left because he's the only guy who can get it all the way back the other way deep.
This is excellent coverage by the Raiders. You see how many places he's looking around, then finally back all the way across the field. Incomplete pass. Ronnie Lott. He's all over that receiver. Who is that? Michael Young? No, that's Russell, the rookie. That's a veteran getting away with a little shirt tail action there.
Whatever's fair. Here's Elway now on 3rd down and 10. Throw and a strike. Gets the first down. Jackson turns upfield, gets to the 40. A 20-yard gain on a 3rd down and 10 play. And the Raiders defense is hit with a big gainer by Denver and John Elway. So after the first quarter of play, as the gun sounds, it's 7-3 Los Angeles.
Get it done. Here's Derek Russell. They've got 6 defensive backs on the field, the Raiders do, but Russell comes wide open. Somebody didn't get the message on what the coverage was. The linebacker lets him go. That's not supposed to happen.
Broncos took it down the field on a long drive that had to settle for a field goal. Now to the 20-yard pitch and catch. John Elway upfield. It's 1st and 10. Here's the handoff from Gaston Green. So quick at 190 pounds. He is the fastest Bronco also. Timed at the combine coming out of UCLA at 4.2. Doesn't think he's lost any of it. As we check the Cannon 10-minute ticker. Bills go to 9-1. Redskins a perfect 10-0. Philadelphia on a late touchdown pass by Jim McMahon wins at Cleveland after they were way behind early. I think it was 23-0 early. On 2nd down and 4, Elway checks the Raider defense. They bring the outside backers up. Gaston Green cuts back inside, and he runs for a Bronco first down.
As you look at Gaston Green, with Bobby Humphrey in the long holdout, you can see what these 2 guys have done. Greg Lewis and Gaston Green have rushed for more yards than Bobby Humphrey did last year through 9 games. A better per carry average and 1 more touchdown. They've not lost anything in running the ball in 1991.
From midfield, the first down carry. This is the standout rookie from the University of Washington, Greg Lewis, who in his last start against the Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday night rushed for 111 yards. Defensive tackle Scott Davis makes the stop. Reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Hard Reward, which will be given to the game's MVP. Greg Lewis, a 5th-round draft choice. He was a standout back in the Pac-10 last season.
It was at the conference in rushing by a bunch.
You pointed out, Trump, the Broncos had a terrific draft. Reed said that's one of the good things, if there's any, about finishing 5-11. These guys like Mike Kroll with the 4th pick in the 1st round. Elway on 2nd down, rolls out, lets it go long. He's got a man flying for the ball, and the catch is made by another rookie, Derek Russell.
No one marked him down. He gets up and runs in.
It is indeed a Bronco touchdown.
47 yards. Now we got Red Cashin and part of his crew talking.
They might look at this again to see if he was touched when he was down. It didn't appear that he was, and it was a live play. It's going to go.
Okay, here's the slant run. McDaniel comes up. Russell with great speed breaks inside. Elway puts this right on the money. Anderson inside. No contact. Legal to get up. Normally for rookie receivers, they stay down. Out of college, you're down when you hit the ground.
Knee down is it.
Russell learns quickly. 6 points, 47 yards.
He had no receptions in his first 4 games. He now has 11 in his last 5. 2 for touchdowns.
The officiating crew still talking.
Elway, if it goes, will have his 8th touchdown pass of the season. Against just 3 interceptions. That's fewer than all but one team in the NFL.
The play was ruled dead. It will be 1st and goal.
This is an interesting thing. No one touches him. This is an interesting thing now for replay to review.
It's certainly reviewable under the rules.
I think the only guy who comes close to touching him is Daniel 36.
Now they both
watch his leg, watch his... I don't think anybody touched him.
I don't either.
But with the call on the field being down by contact, he's probably going to stay there. Watch 36. Does he make contact with Russell?
Eddie Anderson jumps him. Did he?
I don't think that's enough to overturn it, Don. Cal Lepore is the replay official.
The ball was ruled down at this spot. It's 1st down and goal.
Except Red Cashin says that, but the only thing we saw from the officials was a touchdown signal. No one marked where the ball was down.
Rolling from the sideline we get is that the whistle was blown on the field.
Yeah, right.
So instead of a touch, it's a 1st down at the 10. 1st and goal. Raiders continue to lead 7-3. Taking the ball right up the middle is Gaston Green. Again tackled by Scott Davis. And Howie Long.
The problems the Broncos have had inside the 20. That is a huge call. This team has not been a great team in the scoring zone. They're better suited scoring from 47 yards out than they are from the 10-yard line.
In a situation like this, that the Raiders' problems mounted at Kansas City, up 21-10 in the 4th quarter. 3rd and goal from the 6. An interception by Schrader. Run back, and the Chiefs soon after had the lead in the game. Now Elway goes from just outside the 6-yard line, dropping the throw on 2nd down for the Broncos, and he throws it away.
Yeah, he wanted to get it to Greg Lewis, releasing late out of the backfield. But Ricky Ellison, number 50, was all over Greg Lewis. I'm telling you, that could turn out to be a huge play. I saw no official mark the spot where the ball was down by Russell. They both went to the goal line, even though the play from the replay booth was that the whistle had blown.
Raiders have beaten the Broncos the last 4 times they played. And with the help of that call, they continue to lead this game 7-3 when it appeared the Broncos had taken the lead. Here's Elway on 3rd down. He's going to take it up, and he's going to take it in.
rushing touchdown. They got a fight going in the back of the end zone, too.
Just like they like it when these two hook up.
John Elway does the smart thing. He goes to the bench.
One thing you can be sure of when they have a fight early, it's the forerunner of things to come. There will be more.
The best thing about this play is how patient John Elway is with it. Sets back there. Winston Moss, 99, clears off. Eddie Anderson at the goal line tucks the ball away. Soren Doran makes the contact, but Elway at about 6'3", 220. Big.
John's got some fullback in him. He took on the tacklers and knocked him into the end zone. David Treadwell hits the point after. So we have another lead change, as it's now a 10-7 game as Denver has taken the lead. Kickoff by Treadwell. A short spinner. Sam Grady has a problem. Now the Broncos have one as Grady turns it upfield to the outside and goes across the 20-yard line. Run out of bounds by Mike Kroll. So the lead is changing hands, as it so often does when these two meet. The Raiders were all lauding the toughness of John Elway and his competitive spirit. That's the thing they remember and admire most about playing the Broncos. But both are pretty open front that they don't like each other.
Yeah, there's no question. This is a serious hatred between the two. And last night in our conversation with the Raiders, you know, the early stages of these two franchises, the Raiders didn't care much about the Broncos. But in the middle 70s, suddenly the Broncos became an arch rival of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Mecklenburg comes on a blitz. Raiders stands in. He's in deep trouble back at the 19-yard line.
Second sack of the day. Holmes gets this one. Interesting thing about the Denver pressure on quarterbacks, 8 different players have sacks. So as an offense, you just can't sit there each week and prepare for the Denver Broncos and say, watch this guy in the blitz. Holmes comes from the right.
Second and down the throw to Tim Brown as he tries to elude the strong safety, and Atwater comes up and gets him. Hit at the 35-yard line. Now we have more back to NFL Live in New York. Bob?
All right, Don, signed this week after the Oilers cut Ian Howfield. Al Del Greco kicked 4 field, a 41-yarder with 35 seconds left in regulation when it bounced off the upright. Got a chance to win it again, and did, much to Jimmy Johnson's dismay.
First time that the Oilers have beaten the Cowboys at the Astrodome. Hadn't played since '88. Here's a throw and a catch by Roger Craig out to the 35-yard line. He needed to get to the 36.
Depends on the spot.
Oh, friendly stop, but it's still going to be short. He's short by less than the football.
Art Shell is saying, wait a minute, come on. He got that first down. Craig releases out of the backfield. Came on the right there. Kroll, 51, is in front. Randy Robbins, 48, right there. He's across that yard marker. I think that's a pretty good spot from where his feet were right there. That's short. Big decision here for Art Shell.
This early, probably got it booted. And he's sending out his punter, who's best in the NFL right now in net yardage. Jeff Gossett, 39 net yards a punt.
There's Ernie Staunter, the defensive line assistant for the defensive assistant for the Denver Broncos.
A Hall of Famer from his playing days with the Steelers. Gossett drops back to his 21-yard line. There's the deep man, Vance Johnson. And who leads the league in haircuts. We'll check that out later in the game when he takes his helmet off. Down to the 14-yard line. The Vance turns it up and is out of bounds at the 20. 51-yard punt by Gossett and a 6-yard return. The Raiders now down by 3, get the ball, and we come back to Mile High.
ABC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is a right beer now. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. And by Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Don Prigge with Bob Trumpy back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Broncos have the ball, 1st and 10, and a 3-point lead over their arch rivals, the Raiders. 9:36 to play in the first half. Elway on a delay gives the ball to Gaston Green. Raiders aren't fooled. First man up to make the play was Anthony Smith along with Scott Davis, and there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Holding offense. Now, Don, I noticed that the Broncos' choice in the running game is a lot of traps.
Holding during the run. Number 68 on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
Crawford Kerr. You can see the choices by Denver and the fact that they've got already run 24 plays, but 11 passes. Raiders just 4 rushes. 24 plays by the Denver Broncos in a quarter and a half. That's a lot of offense.
Interesting developments elsewhere. San Diego is leading Seattle at San Diego 14-0. Chiefs lead the Rams 14-7. Here's a handoff to rookie Greg Lewis. Breaks into open field. And on 1st and 20, he breaks ahead for a 12-yard gain. Does Greg Lewis. 5'10", 214 pounds.
Well, I just said they're using a lot of traps. This is straight ahead blocking. Double and rub by the center and guard. Excellent job by the offensive line up front. Raiders thinking pass on 1st and 20. Able to pick up almost 11.
Lewis leaving the Husky program, graduating perhaps a year before that Coach Don James gets that long-awaited national championship. The unbeaten Huskies certainly in the hunt for it as Gaston Green runs on 2nd down. 2nd and 8 play, and he takes it out close to the 28-yard line with a free safety. Eddie Anderson makes the stop.
Don, we documented at the top of the show, one of the Broncos' big worries was 3rd down and long. But to this point in the game, the Broncos have been sensational on 3rd down and long.
Yes.
They're 4 for 4 on 3rd down and long. We are saying 3rd and 7 or more. And Elway's accounted for 72 yards on those 3rd downs. This is 3rd and short. This should be a cakewalk.
In the first meeting against the Raiders, the Broncos managed only 37 yards rushing, less than 2 yards a try. And up the middle, they get some yards this time as Steve Sewell breaks it on 3rd and short. It's a Bronco 1st down. Ronnie Lott makes the hit.
What the Raiders are doing, Don, is you see one guy behind the line of scrimmage. There's a linebacker. That's Winston Moss. They get a blocker on him. And there's nobody to account for Steve Sewell or John Elway. You can run up the middle of that nickel and dime front that the Raiders are putting up there.
That was Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, that was looking on. Gaston Green breaks it up as they've changed their offensive scheme in the line blocking. A lot of trap blocking by the Broncos. And it's opening up. They're doubling up those tackles. Eddie Anderson again, the last line of defense. The free safety makes the stop.
Watch the block by 33 Perriman. Bam! He hits Greg Townsend. Green runs right behind him. Perriman, an underrated blocker, but did an excellent job there of just pushing Townsend right by the hole. Gaston Green easily picks up the yards.
He's averaging 6 yards a carry.
47 yards on 8 carries.
Green on 2nd and short. He's ahead. Powers his way for a 1st down. Middle linebacker Ricky Ellison, Bob Golick, Eddie Anderson on the stop. But it's another Bronco 1st down. The Broncos are unbeaten at home this year. They're 5-0 here at Mile High under Coach Reeves and 7-0 over the last two seasons.
The Raiders defensive line is just pushed back off the ball here. That's not something you normally see in a Raider performance. Golick, Townsend, Davis, Long, they hold that line of scrimmage very well.
Raiders really in a 5-man front. They've got that big outside backer up tight on the left side as Greg Lewis runs, trying to cut back. Golick, a three-time Pro Bowl player at nose tackle. And here they start up again with Clarence Kay. Clarence Kay particularly dislikes the Raiders. He said he was in 3 fights the first time that he played against them. And that was only part of that fight card that day. Kay said, when it's Raider week, I stay awake in the meeting.
Which is unusual for Clarence Kay. What the Broncos are doing here is using 2 tight ends. You see them both. Johnson, 89, Clarence Kay, 88. Trying to spread that defensive front out a little bit so there's a little more hole for the running back to run through, Don.
2nd and 7. Whoops. Howie Long makes the big play, gets the block, makes the hit in the backfield, and there's a loss on the play of about 1.5 yards.
That's also the 7th straight run by the Denver Broncos. Long inside everyone. A featured performer in the NFL for a lot of years. The one thing that shocked me in a conversation with Howie Long is he is definitely afraid of flying. A guy who is playing professional football and half of your games are on the road, at least 8 weeks of the year, he's uncomfortable.
Not yet of the position to have his own bus, I guess, so he's making the best of it. Here's a throw and a hit. No flag. Field says he was popped before the ball came in, but the official says no.
Jerry McDaniel was right there. That was a 3rd and long, and the first one the Broncos have missed. He just runs a little flat pattern. The Raiders come with the blitz. He's the hot receiver.
Oh, he was hit.
No question.
He was
no
hit.
flag.
A great second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Victor Frank. Our director, Richard Klein. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. As Horan drops back to punt now for the Broncos, and the deep man for the Raiders is Tim Brown, 1987 Heisman Trophy winner. Ball's hit downfield. It takes a big Bronco hop, and it'll jump out of bounds. Inside it appears the 10-yard line. Forty-yard punt and no return. Standing by New York at NFL Live are Will and Bill, Bob and O.J. with the halftime report, the Domino's Pizza halftime report. Right now, the Raiders have the ball with 4:13 to play in the first half. As you see, the Broncos with a 3-point lead. Raiders only score on a Marcus Allen touchdown pass to Andrew Glover. Raiders go to the run, and Big Steve Smith, normally a blocker, but per carry average, his is the best on the Raiders, 4.7.
And you see the pushing and shoving. I mean, the guy in a Raider uniform just can't see a Bronco without shoving him.
Check the Cannon 10-minute ticker. Big Art Shell was saying yesterday, we know they don't like us. It's not just them. It's the 76,000 people sitting there that don't like us, and we're not particularly fond of them.
Yeah, but, that's true around the league. There's a genuine dislike of the Los Angeles Raiders franchise. Wherever they go, people don't like them. Because they win.
They sell out also. Well, they sell out here. 2 high schools were playing. This is a rabid football town. The 22nd year of Broncos sellout. Dump off to Tim Brown, but before he can kick in his speed, he's taken down by Michael Brooks.
That ball couldn't have traveled 1.5 yards. I think he caught that ball behind the line of scrimmage.
Raiders' options are reduced every play by the speed and the Bronco pass rush.
They try to run Tim Brown on a little delay across the middle, and Schrader is flushed somewhat and ends up being, what he gained, 1.5 foot maybe on that pass completion.
Broncos with a big advantage in total yards. Bronco defense has held 8 of the 9 opponents under 20 points this season. The one team that scored big was Houston. Oilers scored 42 and blowing out the Broncos. Here's a throw and a drop. Ethan Horton, the ball put right where it needed to be. And now the Raiders have to punt from deep in their own end. And Elway and the Broncos with 2:34 to play in the first half should get good field position.
On the left-hand side of the screen, watch 48. Randy Robbins has the coverage. He's all over Ethan Horton. It looks like Schrader's tight end Ethan Horton all the way. You're right. Should have caught that one. Another one of those Raider tight ends who used to be running back. Along the lines of Billy Cannon, Todd Christensen, they like converting those guys to tight ends.
The Raiders fans know Ethan Horton was the #1 draft choice out of North Carolina, Kansas City a few years ago as a running back. They cut him.
Look at this kick.
Booming kick to Vance Johnson. Daniel blocker sets up, and then the Raiders hem him in and knock him down at the 43-yard line of Los Angeles. A 51-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Now Elway and the Bronco offense set to go back to work. 2:23 to go at Mile High Stadium with Bob Crumpy. This is Don Criqui as the Denver Broncos, a 5-11 and last place team a season ago, the comeback team of the year in the NFL at 7-2, riding a 3-game win streak. And John Elway, strong right arm. It has to be strong. He's carried this franchise for the 9 years he's been here. His run up the middle gave the Broncos a go-ahead touchdown after the Raiders had taken a 7-3 lead. Markers go down all over, and the play is whistled dead as Elway starts to roll out.
Yeah, he's going to throw deep. Here's Red Cashin with the call. That's defense.
False start. Before the snap, number 88 of the offense, still first down.
That's Clarence Kay, the tight end. He's right there in front of Winston Moss. Yes, comes out of his stance. 1st and 15. That's the time of possession in the second quarter by the Broncos. Great rushing yards for the Broncos. In the first game, they couldn't run a lick. But in this game, in the first half, and primarily in the second quarter, really run the ball very, very well.
They have. Straight up the middle, they've been doing it, too. Now trying to turn it upfield on those swift outside backers of the Raiders. John Elway now gets his tight end to line to the right, moving people around. First down and 15. They go to the run. This is the rookie, Greg Lewis. Nothing there. It'll be second down and 15. Scott Davis was a tackler.
Look at the rushing yards for the Broncos. 112 yards in this first half. Sports fact.
1983, only one team other than Denver or the Raiders has won the AFC West. Who and when? Xerox Sports Fact, the answer to come in a moment. Right now, the game clock is down to 2 minutes to play in the first half. And the 2-minute warning is given. Timeout on the field. Pass.
And now a late grounding.
Yeah, an expensive penalty for John. It'll be a loss of down. That ain't buying any excuses here.
Nope.
He's heard that before.
Of course, the referee's the only guy who can call the intentional grounding, and Red Cashin took a long look, and to avoid the sack, he threw the ball away.
Said with a touch of Texas in his voice. He's from College Station, Texas, the home of the Aggies.
They're trying to roll out here. Watch 93 Townsend. He's right in Elway's face. Elway avoids the first one. And there's no question. Now, the reason Cashin was so late in throwing the flag is he's standing to the right of Elway looking through the quarterback. And when you throw the ball to the right, it's really a blind spot for the referee, but Red Cashin took a long look and watch the, you're going to see Red Cashin out here to the right, I believe. He should come into the picture, and there he is. Now he's watching, he's looking. Anybody downfield? No, that's to avoid the sack, loss of downs. Good call, Red Cashin.
Elway doesn't have the big passing numbers, but they've run so well. He's 4 of 14 throwing the ball for 87 yards. He has run 16 yards for a first down. He's also run for a touchdown. Now he calls a sprint out. Blockers in front. There's the Elway zing. Right to the wrong guy who drops it. McDaniel. Terry McDaniel with the room service interception.
Well, when you're not used to catching the ball from John Elway, it can surprise you. It gets there in a hurry.
As they say, Trump, if they could catch it, they'd be playing offense.
Yes, they would. I don't know who this is intended for. McDaniel is open.
Is he ever?
But the ball just eats him alive. He kind of explodes off his shoulder pad there, you know. Watch for the punt block here, Don.
Raiders aligning a 10-man rush, and here it comes.
Blocking, hitting the kicker.
They got the kicker and didn't get the ball. Tim Brown runs it back, but the Broncos are going to get a first down as Mike Horan is still on the field. Raiders took a gamble. It was Elvis Patterson, the best special teams player, went for the block.
That will be a first down. Although, you know, when you look at this, watch the left-hand side of the screen. Patterson is pushed a little bit, but that's a major collision with the punter, and that should be a first down. That's running into the kicker.
And that's what's going to be the interesting call, what they rule.
Roughing the kicker, number 43 on the defense.
You can hit the kicker accidentally, and it's just a 5-yard penalty and not an automatic first down.
That was pretty blatant.
Look, Elvis Patterson going to Rip Cashman, pleading his case. Moran looks hurt. Well, that's not very smart by Elvis Patterson. I know he wants to help his ball club, but you aim at a spot 3 yards in front of that punter for exactly that reason.
No turnovers so far in the game. Marcel said if we don't turn it over, we should win. Here's Elway throwing hard. Elway escaped an interception when a ball was dropped a moment ago. Hard throw and a catch taken by Ricky Nattiel.
Al Davis in the press box, he considers that his lucky spot here in Mile High Stadium.
Elway backpedaling at his leisure. Let's go a fastball downfield. A great play by Mark Jackson at the 28-yard line.
Frankly, the Raiders are being a little soft here. That's Torrin Dorn, 46 in coverage. Jackson runs the corner route, 19 yards on the reception. Eddie Anderson bangs him out of bounds. The Raiders are hanging back just a little too much here, Don. They got to be more aggressive in that coverage.
That was a big gamble by the Raiders special teams going for the punt block. On a 4th and 15, a personal foul call resulting in a Denver first down. Now Elway looking to get his team at least into field goal position. 69 ticks left on the first half clock. Long ball. Picked off. Elvis Patterson.
Oh, Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott's the man who comes up with it.
I don't know why he threw that one. Lott's playing center field.
Ronnie Lott makes an all-pro play, his 4th interception of the season.
Gary Lewis has the coverage down the field. This is perfect for Lott. Lott doesn't miss many. All his years. He knows how to catch a John Elway pass. Now you can see his feet at the top of the screen just sitting there waiting. I don't think Elway realized Lott was back there. Nice catch. First turnover of the game. Raiders have the ball.
Lott with some big interceptions and 2 come-from-behind wins over Seattle and the L.A. Rams. Lott had a total of 3 interceptions, 2 against Seattle. Now what can Jay Schrader do with 63 seconds left? He goes to Marcus Allen, and he runs it out to the 27-yard line. Game clock running. Raiders not stopping the clock. They quickly go into alignment without a huddle.
They have all 3 of their timeouts left, as you'll see there.
Now they call a timeout with 50 seconds to play in the first half. So the Raiders have little time to score. John Elway is having his best season as a Denver Bronco. The man who came out in 1983 out of Stanford as the #1 pick in the draft by the then Baltimore Colts.
That's just his 4th interception of the season.
Only one team in the NFL has thrown fewer, and that's the Cleveland Browns, with Kosar, who set the record today, then was intercepted later after 308 straight passes without an interception. Dating back to last season, the Raiders go to the run on short yardage. Clock down to 42 seconds in running. Got to think that Schrader's going to air it out pretty soon here. He has 3 wide receivers in the game. They're looking deep. He's got a long arm as there is. There's an open man, and it skips right through the hands of Mervyn Fernandez.
The players are having a little trouble with their footing on the field. You know, a lot of players slip.
It's like a game of the dueling fastball company.
Yes.
Who can throw it harder?
You can see the turf here, the prescription athletic turf, and Fernandez really didn't have his feet underneath him when he tries to make this catch. Well, you know, he didn't really slip. Rader is 7-11 for 73 yards. Ethan Horton slipped on that play. Ball thrown high and hard by Jay Schrader.
27 seconds to play in the first half. It is a 10-7 game Denver. Now the Raiders are an overload. 3 wideouts to the left. Raiders going to let it go deep. And he throws it right to Bob Golick, who was not in the game.
Right helmet, though.
President and general partner of the Raiders Al Davis.
Terry Robisky, the tight ends coach, he signals the plays into Schrader. What's the signal for Hail Mary?
Schrader had his best season a season ago with 19 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Comes into this game with 10 touchdown throws and 11 interceptions. Marcus Allen taken down by Randy Robbins, and now it is the Broncos who are calling a timeout as the Raiders come up short on 3rd down, so the Broncos want to get it back on a punt. Sports back. Only AFC team. It was 83 to win the AFC West team to win the division with Seattle in 1988. Seattle currently tied up with the Rams at Anaheim. Kansas City tied up with the Rams at Anaheim. Seattle losing at San Diego as the punt by Gossett hit downfield. And the Broncos don't contest it. They had Atwater back. So now with 8 seconds left, we have John Elway coming out with the offense. No doubt they'll let it rip.
I think they'll probably, I guess you could do that, but I would think you just play it safe here as you look at the 10 and 10-minute ticker. The secret to the first half for the Broncos, of course, has been they've been successful in 3rd down and long, run the ball very well.
Philadelphia and defensive coordinator Bud Carson going back to Cleveland, where he was fired as coach last year and coming from way behind to beat the Browns. See the Rams and Chiefs now tied at the half. And at the half, San Diego continues to lead the Seattle Seahawks. San Diego, the best losing team around. 5 of their losses by 6 points or less. Gaston Green runs the ball out to the 30, and that will do it for the first 2 quarters of play. So the Broncos, who scored first, then fell behind on a Marcus Allen touchdown pass, come back to take the lead on a John Elway touchdown run. Dan Reeves takes his 7-2 team to the locker room with a 10-7 lead. NFL Live is coming up next, the halftime report.
My success. Hi, I'm Art Shell, head coach of the Raiders. The key factors in my career were always hard work and commitment. I prepared for the opportunities that were there for me in the NFL. That's what I try to communicate to young people like these at the All People's Christian Center. And with commitment, I know the tough world of drugs and violence that's on the streets of our cities. But I tell young people that they have choices and opportunities. And with hard work and preparation, they can become the real winners in life. When you give to the United Way, you fund the agencies that provide services to people who really need your help. I know I can help these young people get on the right path to create a few overnight success stories of their own. That's what I'm trying to get across to these young people in this United Way supported agency. The United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.